the beneficent, the most merciful, the truthful, and the most just. May Allah's Salam Alaikum. We once again thank Allah for allowing us to come before you for congregational prayer service and to remind you that the keeping up of prayer is obligatory, and the remembrance of Allah is the greatest force that we have with which to fight against evil that takes place within ourselves. It is not the evil outside of you that will destroy you. It is the evil that's inside of you that's going to get you. As the germs outside of you ain't what get you. It's the ones that your hospitable environment allows to get inside. That's what gets you. And nothing ruins you but you entertained an evil thought about your Lord. So, we are not here to beg people to follow. Most of you notice, if you have interaction with me, that I do very little going back and forth with you when I tell you what I want you to do. I used to go back and forth. Not no more. Because Allah wants willing. A Muslim is one who submits. It's not one who rebels. And Allah told me, He said, "Son of man, they are a rebellious house." So, you know, I'm not here to browbeat you. Just like you who got your phone off mute. What you unmute your phone for? Who is that? Mute your phone. You're so silly. You know, that's just getting old. It's just, you know, by now, anybody that comes in here knows that you don't have to push no buttons or nothing. You just dial in and your phone already muted. If you push *6, you just unmuted your phone. But as with everything, you don't pay attention, and your lack of paying attention is going to cost you your life. You know, I mean, like I just showed you, I ain't making this up. You can be, when bubonic plague was around, it wasn't the plague outside of people that killed them. It was the plague that got inside of you. Once it entered you, that's when it killed you. Other people's evil ain't gonna kill you. Yours is. You hear what I said? All right. Yeah, I've been trying my best to get you out of this worrying about what somebody else doing. But you don't seem that don't seem to strike home with you. And you even say, well, so-and-so got the plague. You want it to go on. Take it. All right? I got no time for that. I'm through going down that road with you. So I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do, which is, he said, son of man, when I say to the wicked that he shall surely die, and thou givest him not warning to save his life, he shall die in his iniquity, but his blood will I require at your hands. But if thou warn the wicked, then thou hast delivered thy soul. As I've made it clear to you that the scriptures is written to me, I was told to speak to you. The young brother tried to tell me he's studying the scriptures. I told him, you can't study the scriptures. You can't study what you can't understand. You want pages spread out for yourself, but Allah said, by no means. Likewise, son of man, warn the righteous, the seed of Abraham. If thou, when I say to them, turn to it, you are Ezekiel, the 3rd chapter, and the Holy Quran, the 15th chapter. At the 45th verse in the Holy Quran, it says, mercy for the righteous, and then it's got a hyphen there, and it says Abraham. Mercy for the righteous, seed of Abraham. So Allah said, he said, son of man, again, in the 20th verse, when a righteous man doth turn from his righteousness, like so many of you have done now, following these devils. When I found you, you wasn't following righteousness. You was practicing everything that the one who we call the devil was practicing. Beating him at some of them. Well, I'm just refreshing your memory. That's all, you know. And even some of you who was born in the nation. When I brought these around you that was out of that world, it was almost like you forgot what you was taught all your life. You don't find out how much you believe until you are tested. Throwing up to me what somebody else doing, that ain't got nothing to do with you. You must have forgot where I've been. Well, they ain't doing it. I saw that too. That ain't got nothing to do with my faith in Allah. I'm too busy trying to work on the evil that was in me to be worrying about what they want to do. I tell them, hey, you better cut that out. I'm working on myself. You seem to think, well, if I go to hell, I'm going to have lots of company. Yeah, it's easy to say that. You know, you go in a war zone, and you'll never hear somebody sit up to about, if I die, if I get shot, I'm going to have lots of company. No, you by yourself. Believe me, death is an individual experience. Don't make no difference how many people around you, it don't feel good. Well, how you know? Well, I've been dead. There's many times when I was out there in the world, in a room full of people and was by myself, wondering what all this was, this all to it. Miserable. All right. I'm just showing you it's other levels of understanding of that. But believe me, when you have a heart attack, it don't make no difference how many crowd of people around you. You by yourself. Them people that man that died because they refused to help him from that Ebola thing, came here, they could have helped him and didn't. Surrounded by people, but he was by himself. So when I hear you saying stuff like that, or thinking it, I say just wait and see. Sometimes I warn you, sometimes I say, okay, wait and see. I bet you eat them words. But where you should have heeded my warning, you threw it back in my face. Just like that foolish man that I put out last night, when I showed him the understanding of what the only begotten Son of God meant. He calling the book a lie because he didn't understand it. Thinking he know and don't know that he don't know, so he starts disbelieving in God. So he's a fool. Put him out. The curse of angels and of men is on him. Both worlds say, get rid of the fool. Oh. You just telling man, you fuss more and more and more. You ought to straighten up. I don't like what I see. I'm sick of trying to teach people that hate me. When a righteous man doth turn from his iniquity, his righteousness, and commit iniquity, and I lay a stumbling block for him, he shall die. Because thou hast not given him warning, he shall die in his sin. What is that? He couldn't even been righteous if he had not had some kind of understanding of what God said. Sin is transgression of what God told you to do. Surely reminding prophets. But it only profits those who want to be reminded. Huh? Is that right? You hear people say, forget you. Oh, you better let me remind you. Huh? Okay, you are the seed of Abraham. That's not up for debate. That's even written. I know that you are Abraham's seed, but you are not Abraham's children. Whoever you humble yourself to and submit and let their words go into you, that's whose child you are. You've been the child of Israel. lost over here in Israel's house. And you know the sad part is, you ain't even been his real child, you've been his stepchild. Foster child. Stole you over here and forced you to be his child. And then after he made you his child, then he kicked you out. Then he made you like Cinderella. Clean up for your wicked step brothers and sisters. Where do you think they got that story from? So in this case, your real father, your godfather had to show up. And he took dope dealers and turned them into ministers. Took some of the worst and turned them into people that was robbing you. He took the robbers and turned them into people who was protecting you. And he said, now, like Cinderella, what was you told? Now, look, at 12 o'clock, everything going back to what it was now. Except them shoes I gave you. Huh? Put him on good shoes. Yes, sir. Yeah, he said, now you on the road to independence. Once you lay hold to that handle, that won't break off and go another way. He had already taught me, you ain't following these people, they might help us. Say, I'm the only one responsible that Allah will hold responsible if you don't get the truth, son of man. So when they all broke off, I laid hold to the handle that didn't break off. That's one name that never stopped believing. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he stayed on the job until he was properly relieved. He did not quit his post until I properly relieved him. Now, yeah, I'm coming to you in ways you didn't know I knew. Of course, that's what I always do. Don't nobody know the Father but me. And nobody know me but the Father. And I'm glad. That way we know that just me here, it strengthens the believer and it's the trial for the disbeliever. You wouldn't even been put in the trial if you wasn't guilty. You don't have trials for people who well, anyway, let's go on, and that goes in the parable of 19. So it says, because thou hast not given him warning, the righteous, he shall die in his sin, in his transgression, and his righteousness which he hath done shall not be remembered. You need to bring to his remembrance what he's supposed to do. Sometimes people, when you remind them, you say, oh man, thank you. I know better. Yeah, you know better. Mercy for the righteous seed of Abraham. Why? Because they didn't choose to come here. They were stole and brought over here and robbed of the knowledge of themselves and spoiled. When they wanted to do righteous, nobody let them. When they tried to come together as a nation, the people took crafty counsel to stop it from happening. So have mercy on them. Surely those who keep their duty are in gardens and fountains. That's right. That's what I keep you in the scripture. It's the garden. And each messenger was a fountain of knowledge. Allah hath placed a fountain in the house of Israel. He said, drink it. Drink. Yes, let him that is thirsty come and drink. I shut the devil's mouth. He can't say nothing. That's showing you who I am. Ain't my fault because you don't have sense enough to appreciate it. Surely man is ungrateful. I suck with you. I didn't come to you with no holier than thou attitude. I came to you as a natural man, going through what you went through. And how you act. Took your pennies and turned them into dollars. How you act. Gave you businesses. 5 o'clock roll around, 6 o'clock roll around, you can't wait to leave. I don't see you in there preparing for the next day. I see you hurry up and getting out of there. He that dealeth with the slack hand shall come to poverty. Of course, people who used to having a party while living in poverty, they get uncomfortable when they can get out of poverty. What you in a hurry to leave for? To go where? And do what? I won't go sit down and do nothing. That's why you ain't got nothing. If the shoe fit, wear it. I told you just because you don't see me around don't mean that I ain't looking. Want to do everything but handle. And you ain't really had no bills to worry about. That's been taken care of. Showed you that we could come together and pool our resources and do for ourselves. Showing you got it sitting up out there. And instead of you helping me, you go and every little extra you get, you don't give it to me. You go and do something else. Because you want stuff. Even though I gave you more than you could have ever got on your own. You can push your mouth to the side all you want. When I met you, you didn't have none of this. And wasn't thinking about doing nothing to get none of this. Delivering your children up there to the devil so he could mess them up another generation. And you, sisters, you wasn't thinking about covering yourself up. And who was saying yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am, and you and opening doors for you? And brother, you wasn't trying to make nothing out of her. You was just running up and down the street on the weekend trying to see which one of them you could catch. What you think I don't remember? Ain't no Alzheimer's here. You better straighten yourself up. You better act like you want what Allah offering you. You know, when you behind everybody else, you got to be working when they sitting there, if you want to catch them. That if you didn't learn nothing else from that little story of the tortoise and the hare, then you should have learned that it just because somebody can go faster than you don't mean that they gonna win. Because a slow, steady motion beats fast motions in spurts. Slow and steady. Yeah. You'd be surprised what you can accomplish when you steady on it. People say, well, how soon you gonna be through? Well, when I get through. Well, since you ain't helping me, you ain't giving me no aid, well, you worrying about how long it's gonna take me. And if you was helping me, you wouldn't even have to ask me that because you know how the money comes. So, you know, we do what we can. Well, I ain't gonna never get there. Yeah, that's what they said about the bakery. That's what they said about the automotive shop. Yeah, I know it takes us longer. When you in uncharted territory, naturally it's gonna take you longer to get what you got to do than somebody who's used to doing it. But they wasn't always so fast. You don't compare us to people who've been independent. You compare us to people who haven't been independent. I'll put our record against any other black people around this planet. They got their own country and they ain't doing that. I dare us to get one. I won't be sitting up there wondering what to do and trying to get a big house while my people living in poverty. You ain't got sense enough to see a smart man farming and doing all that, and you ain't got sense enough to go over there and say, hey, man, let me get some of them tractors. You'd rather have some guns so you can shoot anybody that might want to take what you got, huh? You're selfish. Don't want to see nobody else with nothing. You don't care if your brothers and sisters don't have nothing, just as long as you got plenty. I don't have that kind of heart. Never did. You know, the ugly duckling, he wasn't never no duck. And I wasn't never no nigga. You say what you want. You ain't found nobody able to produce that you can produce that said I was niggardly. If I had my friends had, I ain't never been that kind of person. I was just like the messenger. Love his charity. It's like when he was talking about when he gave his last dime in the church. And Master Farad Muhammad asked me, he said, "You remember that time you gave that last dime?" He said, "I didn't know he knew about that." And he knew. When you know one righteous man, you know all. God is one. You know one lion, you know all lions. You know one eagle, you know all eagles. All they do is reproduce after their own kind. You know? How long your head been your head? Since you've been around, your head been your head. Yeah. We didn't just pop up. We've always been that. That ain't up for no, there ain't no running for that. That's already been decided. Take the head away, the body can't read no book. That's why it didn't make no sense for the boy sitting up thinking that the messenger was jealous of him. Jealous of you? Where was you when the messenger started? You was dead. Man, you wasn't even born. Where was you when I started? What you know about what I done been through? And you, so what qualifies you to judge me? You better follow and leave my judgment to Allah. That ain't your place. That's what's running you. That's what's running that boy. He's jealous, envious. Before I would try to condemn somebody, I would listen to them carefully. And I would reason with them. If I was trying to judge them, you notice, when a judge sitting up adjudicating you, if he's the one that's got to judge you, he ain't doing most of the talking. He's listening and asking questions. He even let you question him. Don't you see I listen when people talking? And I ask them questions and they start evading me, and that tells me what's in their heart. A man that really believes what he's espousing, he welcomes questions about it. And when you get him to a point where he can't answer questions about what he thought he knew, he changes his mind. It's like when the messenger he said he was running up and down the East Coast, and he was lucky enough to run into some preachers. And he said, we really had it there for a while until my fire outburned his. And when we got through, he got up and shook hands and said, We never was taught anything like that over there where we went. The messenger told him, he said, they don't have this over there to teach you. He said, if they had it and know that the end of it was you, they wouldn't teach it to you nowhere. So it's like the man that tried to say the white man wrote the Bible. And I just took it. I've been knowing that wasn't so. Just ain't nobody been foolish enough to come in here trying to suggest that to me. No white man wrote, I am black and comely. What are you talking about? That's a black man talking. We made the Bible. And we the only one understand it. We gave it to him, told him no. We closed that up. You can't open it. If he could open it, you'd already knew these things that I'm sharing with you. He'd already knew them. I can ask you plenty that you can't answer. You can't ask me nothing about this book I can't answer. It's foolish of you to even try. Because you don't know the answer yourself. So how in the world are you going to test me on something you don't know? Just sit there and be quiet and pay attention. You're mad at me because I'm speaking with the authority that I have. I didn't get mad when my daddy was talking. I might have got mad. I didn't say nothing. Who he think he talking? He is talking to me. And I know what would happen if I acted a fool. So, he was daddy. If I wasn't the Son of Man, you'd have found that out by now. It's like the messenger said. He said, I stayed with him 3 years and about 4 or 5 months. He said, if he was not really God, he said, I think he would have found me telling him, I don't believe you really God. He said, but if he's really God, he said, he makes me want to be with him more and more and more. He said, and he began changing me into himself. Well, that went along with everything else. He said he was the second self of God Almighty. He said, I'm the second of the two. Yeah, I will send you Elijah. Okay, well, I'm the third one. And that ain't nothing that you can debate, because I have the knowledge that I'm giving you that nobody else was able to give you. I make all things new. The things you thought you understood, when I start talking, you start realizing that you had never looked at it the way I'm showing it to you. No. No, sir. We had wheels, but the white man put us on a new kind of wheel. Well, now I'm putting you on a new kind of wheel. Yeah. Hey, this is a new man here. I'm a new man. Naturally, I'm going to do new things. You see? Took time to get a new man here. The first man was new. Had never been no man. He's the original. And the last man is a new man, and he's the original. You see? From which others will be made. You see? And that's the way it goes. You didn't think deep enough to know that God is man. where it said God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness. Well, if the angels had said, what is man? What is a man? And then it would have been something that you say, well, God must be something other than man. But if he said, let's make him in our image after our likeness, then what was we? You don't have a image if you don't first have an original. That's why I don't want them to come in here and talk with me, because I'll calm them down and say, now let's talk about what the book says. Then they want to start calling the book a lie. Well, if you call the book a lie, so you don't believe there's a God. The fool have said in his heart. Then what you come in here to discuss? If you don't believe there's a God, what you sitting down listening to me for? You see, it's no way you could actually believe that I'm the fool that you trying to convince yourself and other people that I am. Because the mere fact that I can't even run you out of class. You can't seem to leave me alone, can you, boy? I can leave you alone. you ain't got nothing I want to hear. But you can't stop listening to me. And every time I look up, some of them leaving some old crazy comment on the same person. Like that silly some guy 726. Sit up there and say, he talking for 4 hours. Well, how would you know? You sit up and listen to a man that you say talking foolishness, and you listen to me for 4 hours? Yeah. See, you don't even know how to fake it. You can't fake nothing with me. Because I know me. If I determine that you are a fool, I can't listen to you for 4 seconds. And when people say, hey, you need to go back in there, and I said, man, I don't heard that nut. I ain't going back in there. You and him can have each other. Do you understand? But they keep coming back. Wanting to leave an insult or something, walking around with rocks in their pockets, like, throwing rocks. And when you invite them to come in and talk, they get scared. You saw that boy was scared last night. He was scared. I asked him, are you saying the white man authored the Bible? What I'm saying is, I mean, what? He was scared to answer. Didn't want to come up in here talking crazy to me, talking about he's 68 years old. Yeah, 68 years, fool. Yeah. That's I have to talk to you like that. I remember the messenger said, when we see a fool, we don't call him a fool because we know how he became a fool. But then why when I say it, can't you condemn me? Because the messenger and all of them, they wasn't your judge. I'm the judge. I call you something, it's because I see that's what it is. You say, hey, you ain't see, I see everything. You just think I don't. I can tell you a whole lot of things about yourself that you don't see about yourself. You ever seen your back? Have you?
No, sir.
I have. And everybody else but you done seen your back. Don't ever try to get in no discussion about me about something I tell you that you need to work on. Best thing you can do is hear and obey. Yeah. That is, if you want to be with me. When the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said something, I did that. He said it wasn't up for no discussion. When he told me, when that word came down from him, what needed to be done, that's what I did. And when God's messenger said do it, that was it. That was it for me. I can't do that. Well, God gonna help you and you can't do it. So since when do Allah tell you to go do something and he don't help you? No. No. My heart belongs to Allah. I'll do what he say do. And the messenger knew that. He said, brother, when I say a thing, my father was going to do that thing. That's right. See? And it ain't grievous what I'm asking them to do, because everything I'm asking them to do is for them. I ask you to get up and go to your business and run your business. Who is that for? Who is that helping? That's you to sweep a floor. What? Whose floor is it? So I can build it and put it there for you, but you too trifling to sweep it and mop it. Your money went into this. Your labor went into making the money that we did this with. Why you don't want to help take care of it? All of us came from different backgrounds. Then instead of talking each other down, why don't you encourage each other that we got to do better than this? Not you got to do better. We got to do better than this. Let's take care of what we have. You can't just build, you got to maintain. Men are the maintainers of whatever they produce. So let's stand and have prayer. With the lights, brother. Attention. Original salute. Ready front. Prayer position. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. Allah is the greatest. And I bear witness that I know of none who deserves to be served or worshipped beside thee. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful, all holy praise is due and be to thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful Master of the day of requital. Thee do we serve and thee do we beseech for help. O Allah, please continue to guide us and keep us on the right path and way, the straight path and way of thee and those upon whom thou hast bestowed thy favors, not the crooked paths and ways of Satan and those upon whom thy wrath is or will be brought down, nor the foolish paths and ways of those who go astray or who are led astray, even after they've heard and been given the true understanding of thy holy word and teachings. Truly, I have again turned myself to thee, O Allah, striving to be totally upright, to thee who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not of the polytheists. Truly, my prayers, my sacrifices, my life, and my death are all for thee, O Allah, the Lord of the worlds. No associate hast thou, in this am I commanded, and I am of those who submit. O Allah, thou art the King. I know of no God but thee. Thou art my Lord, and I am thy servant. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults and weaknesses. So please grant me and my true followers and family continuous protection against all of our faults and weaknesses. For none grants protection against faults and weaknesses but thee. And guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts. For none can guide us to and instill within us the best of moral character and thoughts but thee. And turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts. For none can turn us away from and remove from us the evil and indecent moral character and thoughts but thee. And O Allah, we beseech thee for thy help and ask thy protection. And we believe in thee and we trust in thee. And we seek thy help to laud thee in the best manner, and to never be ungrateful unto thee, and to cast off and to forsake him or her who is disobedient unto thee, and to remove from ourselves all things that are displeasing unto thee and beside thee. And O Allah, guide us among those whom thou hast and wilt guide aright, and preserve and perfect us among those whom thou hast and wilt preserve and perfect, and befriend us among those whom thou hast and wilt befriend, and bless us in whatsoever thou dost grant to us, and deliver us from the evils of what thou hast judged. For truly thou judgest, and there is none that can judge against thee. And truly he whom thou befriendest is not disgraced. Amen.
Amen.
Up tent, hut. Original salute. Ready front. You may be seated. You know, it is, you know what a doctorate degree is? The one who has a doctorate degree in any subject matter can actually rewrite textbooks, correct textbooks. In this world, that's what the PhD is a philosophy doctor. What does that denote? A doctor is someone who can work on a thing or a patient and correct something that's wrong. You see? Have you ever looked at it's just like people the one thing that most people in this world don't do, especially leadership, they don't pay any attention to their enemies. But if you had paid attention to the world you grew up in and the government that you grew up under, then you found out that while you may not have been paying no attention to Russia, the American government had people all over there, had spy planes flying all over, paying close attention to them. Why? They said, keep your friends close, watch your friends close, and watch your enemies even closer. It is not generally in this world because people are so rebellious and have such big egos, which is what the devil's education does. It puffs you up. Knowledge puffeth up. You see? And so when you correct someone who's knowledgeable, they'll say, well, you know who I am? yeah, know who you are. That's a proud people. But anyway, so in order to be at peace with them, they've taught you how to be at peace as much as possible with people in this world. That you just tell them what they want to hear. How to win friends and influence people. Politicians do it all the time. They just tell you what you want to hear, you know. And case in point, Donald Trump and the man that asked for the Muslim president, and Donald Trump didn't correct him, and then all that kind of thing. He said, "Yeah, I know." He just, because if he correct him, the man gonna get mad at him, And so, but now your enemy, if he sees something that he think is wrong with you, he don't care if you get mad. He gonna tell you about yourself. Do you understand? And so, people that criticize, you'll notice a lot of times people criticize me. I listen to them. Matter of fact, I love to hear the criticism of people more than I ever wanted to hear people flattering me. I want to know what's wrong with me. I don't need you to tell me what's right with me. What do you see on my back that I don't see? You see, you the one get mad when somebody tell you they see something in you that you didn't see. I don't. I go and check it out. Might be there. Not you. You ain't nothing wrong with you, right? And that's why you don't change. In order to change, you have to first confess your fault. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. To confess your faults is to acknowledge that you have them. And the minute you are willing to acknowledge your own faults, it does something else for you. It makes you a better person by recognizing that when you see other people with faults, you have them too. So you just remind them and you move on. But no, you don't see the wisdom. You can't see wisdom as long as you think it's a weakness to humble yourself. Half of y'all sitting in here, you ain't humble. You're only humble when you want something. When I tell you something you don't want, then your real self come out. You think I don't know that? I told you I know a whole lot more than you think I know. So you think I'm lying? Prove it. Anyway, the I remember this fella, Mikael, accused me of praying in the dark, praying to the devil. The devil didn't start off in no dark. The one who started off in darkness was the one that said, "Let there be light." Now, even in church, when you prayed, didn't they teach you to close your eyes?
Yes, sir.
You should have paid attention. You were just in there. You weren't paying attention to nothing. You know, every time I got ready to pray when I was in church, my mother and them taught me to close my eyes. Well, then what you need the lights on for if you're closing your eyes? See, I asked myself all these questions. He wasn't asking me none. Why are you doing this, John? You should have been asking that question yourself when the minute they had you to close your eyes when you pray. But you're too stupid. So, see, unlike them, I had him in here twice. And both times he made a complete fool of himself. Right? That's why I don't let him leave no more insults on our video. I don't let you use our sites for no graffiti. So, and if he got something he want to say to me, he welcome to come in here if he pay me $1,000. And I'm going to keep that until he take back what he said, that if I want to talk to him. He said if I want to talk to him again, they pay him $1,000. Well, if you want to talk to me again, pay me $1,000. What I'm doing, I'm holding him to as you would that men do to you, do ye also unto them.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now until he offer an apology and say, "Oh no, bro, I didn't mean that." Well, then I assume he meant it. Then I assume he willing to pay me that if he want to talk to me. Right?
Yes, sir.
There you go. But anyway, what is the point of having your eyes, using your eyesight, if what you're looking for cannot be seen with the physical eye? You look pretty foolish looking for something that can't be seen, huh?
Yes, sir.
If I told you, hey, go there in the mirror and tell me what your mind look like. What would you say to me? What would you say to anybody if they walked up to you and said, "Look, man, your mind don't look right"? What would you say?
Let's say excuse me.
I know you would have to ask about what you say, excuse me. I said your mind don't look right. Then I have to tell you your mind ain't right. You know, and you, I mean, when did you see anybody's mind? You haven't. And yet, your mind is the one that is expressing itself through this vessel. Vision comprehends him not. So, you know, when our Lord decrees a matter, he only says to it, be, And what?
It is.
Well, when Allah decrees a form for matter, he only says to it be. And the matter begins to form itself into what he wants it to be. Because matter is the servant of mind. You see? And then mind actually serves matter in the sense that without the mind guiding it right, the form that it's in is not preserved. You see? Allah is not only the creator, he has the ability to preserve what and maintain what he creates. You see? So when we pray, we don't pray to stuff. That's why we were taught to close our eyes. Even in the church, we was taught to close your eyes. We ain't praying to stuff. We praying to the one who put stuff in the form that is in. And we know we don't see him with the physical eye. We see him with the mind's eye. Do you understand? There you go. All praises due to Allah. So, you know, if he was doing something, if he was doing the proper thing in our prayer service, he wouldn't be worrying about whether the lights was on or not, because he's supposed to be bowing his head and praying with us. You know, but I'm gonna tell you something. Pretty soon, Allah gonna slap the taste out your mouth. You know how you enjoy your food so much? Are you aware that taste is imaginary? Dust ain't got no taste, but what we give it. Good example, you go on a long fast and get ready to eat, you'll notice your food don't taste like nothing. And if you can't smell, your food don't taste like nothing. It's all in the mind. We create those things. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught me that. The imaginary taste of food. When he said it, I caught it right away. And I bear witness. You know, so you know, when you get a cold, if you can't smell it, you can't taste it. So we are, you know, the things that make life enjoyable are the things that the mind creates and makes enjoyable. See? Allah can take the enjoyment away from you. You better quit clowning and appreciate what is offered to you. If we created the heaven and the earth with truth, we can destroy it with the same thing. The Lord giveth, and the Lord can take it away. So, you know, this ain't no thing. You notice they come in here. Depending on how he act, determines how he leaves. You know, it's a whole lot of things. You can, with truth, you can cast people in hell. Yes. You ain't never had something that wouldn't let you sleep. You ain't never had a problem that you just wouldn't let you rest. Yeah. And you was glad you got the solution. Yeah. Because it was something you just needed. Yeah. You hear people say, well, Lord, God is the answer. Yes, God is the answer. That's because God is the truth. Yes, sir. The author of peace. A man that know the truth about anything that he wants to do. It's a man that got peace of mind. Yes, sir. And, that's why we need each other. And once we realize that we need each other, we show respect. Because we recognize that we don't know everything, but our brother and sister know some things we don't know. So when we don't know, we go find the best knower. And then we at peace again. Oh, praise the due to Allah. It's, people see God in their delusional world, but we see Allah as He is. He's always been and always will be the best knower. So I'm going to let you go now. That's long enough. May Allah bless us all, keep us safe and in our right minds. May Allah's Assalamu alaikum.